Number 10. SHARABAN. A doppelganger is someone who looks exactly like you, and for the most part they're extremely hard to find. With celebrities, they're easier to point out, but for regular people like you and me, it's almost impossible. But somehow, a 23-year-old German woman who's only been identified as SHARABAN K found her own lookalike. Here's the thing though, she didn't just want to be friends with her doppelganger. SHARABAN had something much more sinister in mind for 23-year-old beauty influencer Khadija O. The suspect had been accused of murdering Khadija in August 2022. The victim's body was discovered in the back seat of SHARABAN's Mercedes. Investigators saw that she'd been stabbed over 50 times, so it was truly horrific. It's believed that the German woman's boyfriend, Shakir K, was also involved in Khadija's death. At first, police officers had no idea who was killed. The corpse had been so badly disfigured that she was practically unidentifiable. But they ran the Mercedes registration and found out it belonged to SHARABAN's family. And since the victim matched her description perfectly, they just assumed it was SHARABAN, which is exactly what she wanted them to think. Some time passed, and an in-depth autopsy was run on the body. This revealed that it wasn't SHARABAN that had been killed, it was Khadija. Investigators think SHARABAN scoured social media sites like Instagram in order to find someone that looked just like her. After finding a few matches, the killer reached out to the woman and asked to meet up. Khadija agreed, thinking SHARABAN was going to give her free promotional items. On the day of the murder, SHARABAN made up an alibi. She told her mom and dad that she was going to Munich for the day to see her ex-husband. Instead, she met up with Shakir and together, they picked Khadija up. Police say the deranged couple then drove into the woods to carry out the murder. The reason SHARABAN wanted to fake her death was because she was fighting with her family. She believed it'd be easier to stage a murder than make up. But it was easy to track the woman down. As soon as investigators saw the Instagram messages, they knew something strange was going on. SHARABAN now faces murder charges, and if found guilty, she'll spend the rest of her life in prison. Number 9. ELVIS. There are countless celebrity lookalikes who build a career off looking like their famous counterparts. They do impressions, comedy shows, musical acts, and more. You name it, and a celebrity lookalike has probably done it. One of the more common impersonators you'll see are people pretending to be the late iconic rock and roll singer, Elvis Presley. One man from West Yorkshire was putting on a live stream show as Elvis in November 2020. In the middle of his performance as he was singing, a police officer can be seen walking in behind him on the video. As soon as Dean Holland saw the cop walk into his house, he charged at the officer, no questions asked. The King of Rock performer ripped his headphones off as he watched two more officers walk inside. They tried to calm Dean down as he's obviously very confused. Eventually, though, he turns the loud music off and asks the men what's going on. Calmly, a cop responds saying, "We've been trying to get in for 20 minutes. It's clear that Dean was being way too loud, especially if he couldn't hear people knocking on his door for that long. At this point, the live stream was still recording, so Dean informed the officers, but they responded by telling Dean he was being arrested for a domestic assault case. The Elvis impersonator's phone fell over as the cops put him into handcuffs, and viewers watched as the king himself was carted away. Number 8. George Clooney. Did you know George Clooney was Italian? Well, he isn't. One of his impersonators is, though. In 2019, a couple was arrested in Thailand after spending years on the run from police. 58-year-old Francesco Galdali and 45-year-old Vanya Goffi were taken into custody by both Rome and Thai investigators during a joint operation. The two had been eluding law enforcement since 2013. Francesco received attention after using George Clooney's name to promote his personal clothing brand, GC Exclusive by George Clooney. He never got the actor's permission though, and when the star found out, he sued. The Italian imposter made several claims that he himself was Mr. Clooney in order to sell more clothes. This wasn't the only scam run by Francesco either. He and Vanya were also caught selling expensive fake watches online. When excited customers got their package, thinking they received a Rolex, the only thing inside was packets of salt. Because of these frauds committed in Italy, the couple ran away to Thailand in 2014. They were officially arrested in Pattaya for overstaying their visas and being in the country illegally. The Clooney clothing scam earned Gaudelli 8 years in prison, but he ran away before serving time. Now, with everything else he's done, he'll likely spend much longer behind bars. Number 7. Kim Jong-un. North Korea is led by the one and only Kim Jong-un. Many have described him as a tyrannical dictator who's running the country into the ground. Some defectors say that people starve every day in the North and are unable to live fulfilling lives without a constant shadow of fear from the country's government. Because of this, there are countless individuals online who make fun of the leader, insulting him for those who can't. One of these people is an Australian comedian who goes by Howard X. The man bears a striking resemblance to the North Korean leader, so he's used this to his advantage when it comes to his comedy. Howard has fully leaned into the look and has been impersonating Kim for years. Apparently, not everyone's a fan of his act though. Before entering Singapore in 2018, Howard was stopped by law enforcement. While being detained, officers asked him what his political views were before letting him into the country. In an interview with the news outlet Reuters, Howard claimed that they held him for over 2 hours after arriving at the Changi airport. They asked if he'd participated in protests and more, and when he told them that he hadn't, they informed him that the interrogation was happening because former President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un were about to meet in real life, so it was a very sensitive time. After clearing the interview with officers, Howard was allowed into Singapore. They told him to stay out of certain parts of the city though, in order to avoid potential conflict. Since the impersonator also brought a buddy that looked similar to Donald Trump for his act, the detainment may have been justified. Number 6. Frozen. After its release, Disney's Frozen instantly became one of the company's most iconic films. Kids everywhere looked up to the strength of Anna and Elsa, and a lot of people wanted to cash in on the hype, including 22-year-old Bianca Fares. In 2016, the young woman was arrested in Rio de Janeiro. She'd apparently stabbed Fabio Serfati, a well-known doctor who made appearances on TV. Bianca made her money by dressing up as Princess Anna and going to birthday parties all over Rio. She impersonates the Disney character, making children's wishes come true. But this princess had a dark side. In connection to the attack, the woman's boyfriend was also taken into custody. The doctor allegedly offered to help Bianca out after seeing her crying on the street. Instead of accepting the kind gesture, the Anna impersonator cussed Fabio out until he left her alone. When the 34-year-old man finally did walk away, Bianca then chased after him with a knife. Both of the doctor's lungs were punctured, but he lived. The incident shocked law enforcement since there isn't much crime that happens in the area. And for someone who portrays one of the most beloved Disney characters ever, Bianca definitely isn't a princess herself. After her arrest, it's not entirely clear what happened with the case, or if she was ever convicted of the crime. What would you do if someone dressed as a Disney character came at you with a knife? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you like the video so far. Number 5. TERESA SIEVERS. In 2015, a devoted mother and holistic doctor named TERESA SIEVERS went home to Bonita Springs, Florida after visiting some extended family in New York. She went on vacation with her 2 daughters and her husband, Mark, but she had to leave a bit early for work. Because she ran her own practice, TERESA caught an early flight while her family stayed behind a little longer. After leaving though, no one could get in touch with the 46-year-old woman. When they checked her house to see what was happening, TERESA was found laying in a pool of her own blood. Someone had brutally murdered her in the kitchen. A hammer was discovered, and investigators say she was hit over 17 times. The doctor's skull was completely crushed, and her body was badly damaged. Initially, it was believed she'd been killed in a robbery gone wrong. Law enforcement found signs that someone had forced their way into the house, but nothing was stolen. Soon, more sinister theories came to light as the victim's husband, Mark, was acting strange. Loved ones tried comforting him after TERESA's death, but he shrugged them off. When an anonymous tip to authorities sent them to a Missouri man named Curtis Wayne Wright, they noticed that strangely, he looked almost identical to Mark. After some questioning, it was revealed that Curtis and another man had been hired by the widower to kill TERESA. Mark apparently offered them $10,000 for the hit on his wife. Soon he was arrested and charged with the doctor's murder, and as a consequence of his disgusting actions, he was given the death penalty. Number 4. Walter White. Breaking Bad is one of the most popular TV shows of all time. It features an ordinary chemistry teacher who gets diagnosed with cancer. In order to make money for his family, the character, Walter White, starts making and dealing crystal meth. In 2019, Illinois police began searching for a criminal who looked just like the fictional character. Not only did 50-year-old Todd Barrick have a striking bald head, a beard, and glasses, but he was also wanted for violating parole after being caught with meth. Todd's mugshot instantly went viral as people noticed the uncanny resemblance. It seems the only reason he gained so much attention is because of the similarities. Many users online say he looks like Walter White if he started using his own product. If you get what we mean. Police were able to catch the criminal at the beginning of 2020, and he was sent to the Knox County jailhouse. It's unclear how Todd managed to evade authorities for months, especially since he's so recognizable. Number 3. Boris Johnson. As a former British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson has faced his fair share of scrutiny for his political decisions, so a lot of people thought it was hilarious when 43-year-old Jason Watson was arrested. The middle-aged man looks almost identical to the political figure with pasty skin, striking blonde hair, and bright blue eyes. Even the men's facial shape is similar. Jason was taken into custody for theft. He and 45-year-old Adrian Audie worked together to steal keys, debit cards, and even a pair of luxury earrings. On September 28, 2021, Jason was arrested, and police caught him with 1,280 pounds stuffed in his pants. He and Adrian had apparently been seen acting suspiciously at a panini cafe in the port city of Hull. The two were looking around the cash register as if they wanted to steal something. After they left, one of the employees there realized her bag had been stolen. Inside the purse, she had the exact amount of money Jason was found with. Incredibly, the man had about 210 past offenses on his record. He'd already spent over 4 years in jail, but he just couldn't pass up another opportunity to be sent behind bars. For this charge, the Boris lookalike received 10 more months along with his partner in crime. Number 2. David Schwimmer. Friends is a beloved sitcom from the late 1990s and early 2000s that features a group of friends living in New York City. One of the characters depicted on the show is named Ross. He's played by the well-known actor David Schwimmer. In 2019, a man bearing an uncanny resemblance to David was sent to jail for 9 months after being found guilty of theft and fraud charges. 36-year-old Abdullah Husseini was caught on security footage using a stolen bank card to buy alcohol and snacks. Quickly, the crime, which took place in Blackpool, England, got a lot of attention as people pointed out how Abdullah looked just like David Schwimmer. Police posted a photo of the thief online as they were searching for him. In response to the uproar, David posted a hilarious video to his Twitter account. It featured him in what looked like a convenience store holding similar items to what Abdullah stole. In the caption, he said, "Officers, I swear it wasn't me. As you can see, I was in New York." The post got over 500,000 likes and was shared tens of thousands of times. At least he had a sense of humor about his doppelganger's criminal tendencies. Number 1. Harry Styles. In recent years, Harry Styles has topped the music charts time and time again. The award-winning artist first rose to the spotlight in the hit boy band known as One Direction. When they split up, Harry started a solo career that's been incredibly successful. His fans love him for his down-to-earth personality, captivating songs, and dreamy looks. In 2021, people were shocked when the mugshot of New York native 21-year-old Jason Sanderlin went viral. The young man looked just like Harry himself. However, there was one big difference between the two of them. Jason had a large facial tattoo that showcased the number 33 on his forehead. He was arrested and accused of hitting an innocent woman's head with a rifle after breaking into her apartment. The criminal also allegedly groped the victim as well. Once inside her home, he tied her up as he stole $400 and some drugs. Police were tipped off after Jason's girlfriend turned him in. The man has since been charged with terroristic threats, assault, false imprisonment, and more. He couldn't be more different than Harry Styles, but there are always two sides to every coin. Do you know any celebrity lookalikes? Let us know in the comments down below. And remember to leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bad Badger.